Hey Team Weather Shield, Jim here again. So last week we talked about the core behavior of not just being busy, but being productive. And one of the comments I made was most people focus on the urgent, and those are the busy people, because there's always urgent stuff to keep you very, very busy. And in a sense, to keep you distracted. But productive people focus on what is the most important, not just what is the most urgent. So the question comes up, how do I do that if most of my time is predetermined for me? In other words, if I work on a roof and my job is to fix leaks or is to lay roof material, or if I work in the office and my job is to receive phone calls and write out work orders or to do accounting work, how do I solve the riddle when this work just comes at me and I have to do the work? That's urgent. When the phone rings, it's urgent. When bills have to be paid, it's urgent. So how do I do important things without getting trapped in the urgent things when most of my time or much of my time is predetermined for me? Here's the principle that governs this. And the principle is each of us must learn to work on our business or our job or our role or our function, even as we work in it. We have to work on it as we work in it. So how you focus on the most important is you work on your job to make it more efficient, to make it better, to eliminate urgent, to eliminate emergencies, and to just streamline it. When I was the only one who was doing sales and management, right? Like go back in the evolution of Weather Shield, and there was a point in time where I ran crews, I did estimates, I priced things out, I sold the work. How on earth do you prioritize your time when just all this stuff comes at you? What I learned to be ruthless about is working on it as I worked in it. If I had to write a letter to somebody to address an issue, I would write the letter and then I would take a few minutes to take that letter and I would make it generic, because I knew that situation was probably going to come up again. And when it did, I will have a letter that's pre-written that I can just put in a name, address, change a couple details, and shoot it out in 1/10 of the time. So even as I dealt with urgent things, I had to get this letter out because of a certain situation or respond to a customer, I took just a little extra time to create a version of it that would carry me into the future, and I could very quickly deal with that in the future. And I did that with absolutely everything that I could. I thought about not just how we laid the roof, but I thought about what's the most efficient way to do this? What's the best way to train my crews to do this? And even as I was working on the roof back in the day, yes, there was a day, even as I worked on the roof, I was thinking, how do we streamline this? How do we make it more effective? How do we make it more efficient? How do we avoid urgent things? How do we avoid emergencies by making the process eliminate those? In other words, begin with the end in mind, right? Do the work in such a way that you eliminate the emergencies. Communicate with your customer up front in a way that you eliminate questions and urgent things later on. So apply this principle, work on it, even as you work in it, to solve the riddle of how to be productive and not just busy. Now, talk with your team about some ways, specific ways that you in your role can begin to do this, or new ways that you can do this, and help each other brainstorm around this. Have a great day.